degrees. All right, we are thrilled to have Abby Wambach joining us now, a hometown hero for sure, but a hero really around the world now. And she is on a campaign to talk about natural grass turf for soccer players and others as well. Let's start with that, Abby. First of all, we're from Rochester, New York. You've heard of it, right?
I've heard of it. You know, it's up near Buffalo, right?
Yeah,
Rochester's
we're kind of
near Buffalo?
sandwiched between Buffalo and Syracuse. We really don't mean much to anybody other than the people who live here. Talk about this campaign you're on. I know it became an issue pre-World Cup about the artificial turf versus the men's game played on natural grass. Why is this so important to you?
Well, I've partnered with a trade association called RISE, and they represent lawn care products. And basically, the campaign that in the lawsuit that we filed against FIFA pre-World Cup was to get the World Cup on natural grass surface, the surface that soccer and all sports, in my opinion, are meant to be played. And it's such an important topic, not just for me in my specific World Cup, but for our kids and our children. You know, natural grass is more forgiving. It doesn't hurt your joints. You're not going to get as injured as you normally would on an artificial surface. You know, the ACL injuries that happen throughout athletes' careers, we want to prolong athletes' careers. And that starts from the time when they're young and they're learning how to play the game. Not only that, but when you play on artificial surface, it changes the way the game's played. I'm not as good of a soccer player on an artificial surface as I am on natural grass. There's this thing in the back of your head that you just wonder, you worry, should I slide here on an artificial surface that with natural grass you don't? And these are the issues that I want to keep talking about, because I look ahead into the future. I see 20 years down the road, and I look from the moon down to Earth, and I see all these artificial surface fields across the world. And that's not what I want for our future. That's not what I want for my children and their children's children. They deserve to learn how to play sports on natural grass. And that's why I've partnered with RISE. If you have any other questions, just go to debugthemyth.com/naturalturf, and you can find out all the information you need to know there.
Let me ask you a question real specific to this topic that you're on. Did you ever have an injury that you knew was directly attributable to playing on an artificial surface versus natural grass?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had so many scars. My knees, my elbows are all filled up with scars playing on artificial surface. You know, many of the NWSL games, the club season games, are played on artificial surface. And it's just dangerous. It's just dangerous to put your body on the line. Not only is it dangerous for pro athletes that they do it for their career, but it's also dangerous for kids, because let's say you're 15, 16 years old and you know you're playing mostly on artificial surface. You know, I talked to some of the Mercy girls a couple months ago when I was back home, and they play one game of their year on natural grass. Wow. And so they almost prefer playing on artificial surface because that's what they're used to. And that blew my mind. And so that's why it's so important to get this word out, because people have to understand that it's dangerous. These kids are going to hurt themselves, you know, and it's not as fun to play on artificial surface as it is to play on natural grass. It's how the game is meant to be played, and it's something that obviously I'm passionate about. I mean, I was suing FIFA over it, but the reality is it goes beyond just myself and the World Cup and soccer. I want all of our parks, I want all of our children and their children's children to be able to play on natural grass.
When are you going to be home again? A lot of people here want to welcome you back and celebrate the World Cup with you.
That is a great question. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Rochester next, but I've been on a little bit of a whirlwind tour, traveling the country, showing people my World Cup medal, and celebrating, really, you know, celebrating this victory, because this is not just a World Cup victory for us players and staff who were on the field and playing. It's for our whole country. You know, it's been 16 years since we were able to bring home the World Cup. It's very unfortunate that it was played on artificial surface, but you know, that gives us an opportunity to start a conversation about how important it is to play sports, all sports, from the time that you're young all the way till the time that you're old. We want all sports to be played on natural grass, and it's so important. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, people. I don't understand it, you know. So, like I said before, go to debugthemyths.com/naturalturf, and you can find out all the information you need to know there.
What's next for you soccer-wise, or just in terms of your life plans?
What's next for me, my life plan, I haven't decided about what I'm going to do. I'm planning on playing next summer in Rio, but I got to let my body recover, because that's the other thing about playing on artificial surface. You know, 7 games is a lot of games, and it wasn't a short, you know, it wasn't a long period of time where we're playing over. So my body took some hits, and I'm trying to recover. I'm going to vacation with my family over the next couple of weeks after I do some stuff here in New York City, but it won't be in Rochester. So I'm excited to go and vacation and get away from a little bit of the whirlwind I've been on, and to rest, relax, and be able to make maybe some of those future decisions.
I bet. One thing that struck me watching you in the World Cup was the way you accepted a different role than what you've been used to throughout your soccer career. Was it tough for you to be playing less, or were you very accepting of what the coach's decision was with that?
Well, as a competitor, I want to play. You know, that's who I am, and I've been on this team long enough, and I've been in the World Cups and the Olympics many different times, and I know what it takes. And I also know that my body wasn't going to be able to take 120 minutes if those games called for 120 minutes in terms of getting into an extra time. So there was a little bit of tactics involved in terms of what the coaching staff was needing to do. They knew that they wanted me on the field at the end of the game to either close out a lead, or if we needed to push for a goal, or of course if it ended up going into penalty kicks, because you never know.
Right.
Never did we expect to be up 4-0 or whatever it was at halftime in the final. But the reality for me is I have made a living off of being on a team. And in order for every team I've been on to be successful, you have to accept whatever role you're given. And that really is true in all walks of life, whether it is in the boardroom, whether it is on a team, whether it is in your family. Whatever role is given to you by your parent, your teacher, your boss, you have to accept it and move forward and do the very best with what you have, because otherwise the collective can't win.
We are out of time.